Namaskar. Namaskar and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology Debunking Mythology. Please do join our courses, our channel, subscribe to our channel, become a member at Patreon or YouTube member. And a lot of benefits are there. First of all is you will go through a very formal debunking mythology course. People who want to understand the Hindu culture, the Vedic culture, or the predominant culture of the world, even today. And for yogis, we have a separate course, which is 12x Yoga Sutra course, which you can join, and which will bring your yoga practice to the completely next level, which is built on my book, which is Transcending the Mind. People like to control the mind. You cannot control the mind. You have to transcend the mind, transcend the buddhi, and then you get situated in yoga based on Patanjali as well as Bhagavad Gita. Also, it's important. So many people are telling me that we hear only books. We want to hear your audiobooks. I'm working on that and it will be shortly launched. I have to really take out time from my schedule to do that. And for that, you have to join me as a team. And my simple class qualification for a team is that you must actively get involved with Sattology, do a course, get certified before you are included in part as part of my team. And also after you become part of my team, see, there is a lot of fun in Sattology. Sattology word itself is means debunking mythology. It's an antonym of mythology. And when you join the Sattology teams, it is a lifelong mission. It's not a one day mission, 2 day mission, because there is so much mythology written by the European academics or the Western academics to prove their superiority, cultural superiority over the rest of the world. What they have said is that whatever we say, because we look better according to them, we look better, and we are more civilized when they were the least civilized people, they're barbarians, and therefore all of you must listen to us. And what they have done is by misusing the trust of the people where they went. If you look at the world, everyone in the world is welcoming. The visa restrictions you only see in Europe and other Western countries like USA. But other countries are welcoming. Most of them. This is the original culture of the world, including Native Americans. Native Americans did not start violence against the settlers. It was the settlers who occupied their land without permission when the violence actually began. So that is the condition. Now, what European historians did to prove their superiority, they they used military over people who did not believe in like if you live as per the principles of Ishavasyam, then you actually live because you know that the land belongs to Ishwar. This is a common native culture across all lands, whether South America, North America, or even Asia, where if you study their cultures, you'll find that all of them believe that this land is a gift to them by a superior energy, superior force, or God. God word is a misnomer for sacrifice, which is gyud, is the origin of the word. You can read my books in that I have mentioned a lot more in detail about the etymology or the origin of words, which are very important for us to understand. Now, so in that context, we have to constantly, no university is going to teach you, because universities are dominated by the European academics, or nowadays is a fashionable term is Indologists. Indologist means not India. Indologist means India is a pejorative word again for them. Indian means a farmer or a villager, or in Hindi you call it dehati. like that. Indian is not a good word for them in their mindset. It's like a backward person. Now, because of so much social media, things are changing a little bit, and we are making use of that facility, that we are trying to re-educate ourselves through these shows. You will not find in any university, not find in anywhere else. These researches you won't find anywhere else, because we are using Mahabharata as the basis and Ramayana as the basis, and then trying to understand the geography of the world connected to Sanatan Dharma. Now, before I start my presentation today, I want you to keep two things in mind. That number one, that the geography was very well documented before even Europeans started to understand things around them in the 17th century, 16th century, 13th century. Most of the European scholars, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, like these are the Greek scholars, and then later on many people came, Diosthenes, Antisthenes, and different philosophies came, uh, Stoicism, and then skepticism. This is a philosophy there. All these philosophies are derived from an ancient philosophy which came from the East. East means only India, because India was a cradle of knowledge and is still the cradle of knowledge and civilization all over the world. But to remove India from the picture, especially Hindu, most of the European scholars who were church members and who were church protecting the Vaticanism, it's called Vaticanism, Christianism, they openly criticized or negated every single aspect which even remotely connected to India. I told you about the Coptic history, Coptic Christian history, which is Egyptian history, but Vaticans call it Coptic Christians. Now, we I just made a very shallow presentation. It is not even deep, because if I start going deeper, 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 you will understand that Egyptian pyramids were built in an age to perform yoga, actually, because the Sri Yantra, the dimensions of Sri Yantra, they are meant for spiritual advancement, and there is spiritual advancement is not possible for a human without yoga. You can write it down, note it down, and save it with you. It's in my book, detailed. And the Western science is just a understand one thing: tools and technologies are built on science. So tools and technologies use the principles of science, and the so people who make tools and technologies, you can understand that that in the Sanatan Dharma there is a devta for building tools and technologies. Who is that devta? You can write in the comments here. So I want to see how much you know, and I'll just give you a hint. The hint is that the tools and technologies, his son was Nala, who built the Nala Setu. So you can write over there. So I'll be happy to see how many people answer that. So we continue. I'll give the answer in any way. So then the tools and technologies are built over science. And it is in a very simple terms, they are known as karigar. Okay. So building tools and technologies using the scientific thing is not a big deal. There are a lot of karigars, a lot of workers, intelligent workers have created many tools and technologies over the history. You'll see that in the presentation today. But the Vigyan or the science, it is the domain of yoga, because you need to control your mind, you need to control intelligence or transcend the mind and intelligence and take inspiration and then build on it. It requires a deep study. So all the original schools of philosophy are based out of India. right? And somebody gave the answer already. Vishwakarma. Good. Thank you. So, so the original tools and technologies are built on scientific principles, and most of the great spiritual or the yogi, yoga is the right word to use for spirituality. Stop using spirituality, but I will use here because many of the Americans are watching it, many of Europeans are watching it, and that's why the show is in English. We are based out of San Diego, California, so we will speak in English so that maximum people can hear this conversation. The Western theologies, or again, they made a separation between theology and a spirituality. They made all kinds of separations, trying to keep it micro, 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 because the entire ecosystem in the Western world is built around making money. So the concept of patents also come in. That whatever I speak is my knowledge. The difference between them and the Vedic rishis or the yogis is that the yogis did it for the entire planet Earth. Our great rishis, therefore, the knowledge was always free. So, what was the purpose of knowledge, which the Western European minded or the church connected academicians will not ever accept? Is that to come out of the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. That was the purpose of all the Veda, Purana, Itihas, Upanishad. So, for that, you need a deep science, because if you want to transcend the matter, you need something stronger than even a spaceship, because the mind itself is a vehicle, Gamma Vishya. Mind itself is a vehicle, because of the mind, Sparshanam, Granam, Rasanam, Shrotram. In 15th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that your mind gives you the next type of ears, eyes, the sense of taste, sense of walking, type of body. So, mind is the most powerful material object that you have in your own possession. And that's why the entire yoga science, see, obviously, we need tools in life. We need a car. Nowadays, we need a car. Earlier, they used to be chariots. So, if you overall compare that, our attempt to destroy the nature by eating the animals who can be used for our purposes in agriculture, in transportation, we made them as a food because of a faulty philosophy that the man has dominion over matter. This is the root cause of the Western spiritual decline. No native culture has ever believed in such nonsense. Because in Veda, it says, this world is created, Ishavasindam Samyam, Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat Upanishad, Yajurveda. Tena Taktena Bhunjita Magrida Kasyachudanam. So we do not use this world for our material enjoyment. We are the caretakers. We live on this world to come out of the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. That is a karma bandhan. Krishna mentioned in 15th chapter also, Purushottam Yoga. And so I'm don't take it as into a Hindu class. We are talking common sense here. It's not a Hindu, it's common sense. You came here, this world was already existing. If you take 25 generations before you, this world was still existing. If you take 100,000 generations before you, then also this world was still existing. And this world is also going to exist when your current body is gone. So the world is permanent. You are not. I am not. So what is the purpose? The purpose is to use these facilities to elevate our consciousness. Consciousness means soul, disconnection with intelligence and mind. Pure soul, to come out of the clutches of intelligence and mind. That's the purpose of life, very simply. Now we'll begin with this background. We'll talk about Parthian. And before I start off, whatever Wikipedia shows you, it's the propaganda of the Western academics. And sometimes the Middle Eastern are also involved because they all hate their original culture. Just like, and not all the families, some families, the teenagers hate their parents. Everyone has gone through that. Some of you, if you have gone through that, just type here, yes, yes, yes. Because it's a common thing. It's a revolt is there. If you're too oppressive, it's not, it happens to all the families. I've seen very wonderful families where the teenagers love, always the teenagers will love their grandfather, grandmother, or because it's some kind of connection they have where they're not being corrected, and generally the grandparents spoil. It's a time of festivities in most of the world, and believe me, our programs are for everybody. We are purely based on education, and it's a non-profit. It's a religious non-profit. It's a Hindu religious non-profit. So we only focus on Vedic connected programs, Veda connected programs. So you can support us, donate us, and help us grow, because this is needed. And our principal programs are the 12x debunking mythology course, where we go much deeper, and also the Yoga Sutra course, where we go completely deeper in the sense of yoga philosophy and practice. So let me begin. So I'll share my screen and I'll show you the first part. So if you have any questions, you keep typing there. I'll take them later on. Right now, I won't take any questions. I will take towards the end. Okay. So let me just share a screen with you. Can you all see my screen? You can type over there so I know that you are seeing the screen. If you're seeing the screen, okay, I will make it a little bigger. And this is what the Europeans tell us about let me make this bigger. This is what the Europeans tell us about the Parthian Empire. You know, so the reason I'm saying this is that the Parthian Empire is imagined empire, imagined. The period in which they mention is 124 to 191 BC. Imagine the Western world, or the Western academy, not the Western world, because there are many great people who have practiced yoga in the Western world. So I'm not referring to all the people. I'm only referring to a very small section of people who claim themselves to be academics and who are affiliated to the church. And I have nothing against the church as an organization, because, or simply reason, I don't understand them. I don't know them. Okay. So I have no basis to refer to them. I don't know them. What they do, only they know, and the God knows. So, coming to, this is the region which most of these people, they refer to as Parthian Empire. Now, if I want to expand, and all these names are very funny. Let me zoom out. There's no way to zoom out in this one. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so this almost coming to near India. This is India, this is Pakistan. Imaginarily, they have put it here. Because why? Because they're afraid, who? They're afraid that the Indian academics who are not affiliated to them, like most of the Indian academics who claim to be Indologists, they are parroting the Western viewpoint. And us being independent, we don't parrot anybody's viewpoint. We parrot the viewpoint of our paramparas. Brahmadva, Sri Sampradaya, Adi Sankaracharya, Rudra Sampradaya. These are the Sampradayas we follow. Our traditional Indian Sampradaya. So, and it's so amazing that they did not touch into this. And most of these names, Karmania, Paradan, Persis, Suziana, Karkin, now in Mahabharata, these areas are completely differently documented. Mahabharata, see, the thing is, when uh, when Arjun goes after the Rasu Yagya for his Ashwamedh Yagya, see, Mahabharata, why I bring back to Mahabharata is Vyasdev has said he is our guru and he is the one who wrote Veda. Where Vedanga, most of the Western science has come. Medical science is a complete copycat of Shushruta Samhita. And in one of our programs, if you look at Mitra Desai's program on Sattology, you will see how she documents it very well. And there are many other scholars who have done a wonderful job. Now, keep in context the modern history, okay, modern uh, concept. These names, now, you'll be shocked to know that Bactria is here. We must have heard of Bactrian Empire. So they're all talking the region of India, all near India. So in Mahabharata, this is Sindhu Desh, Sindhu Desh, big area, Sindhu Desh. Somashram, parts of Afghanistan and Iran. Parasik, Parasik is a huge area. And after Parasik is Balik. This is Balik. This area is Balik. This is Turkiamas. This is Mahabharata area. Like Armenia is part of that region. Armenia, maybe the Kalakut mountains are here. This is a Kalakut lake right here. It's 7 hills. This is Mahabharata era. Nakul and Sahdev's family, Shalya, is from here on the coast, literally here. And Valmiki Ramayana mentions that there were yajna performed here, yajna performed here, yajna performed here. It was all part of the Uttar Kuru. The entire region was Uttar Kuru. Vyasdev says if the world, any history which has no connection with Mahabharata, is actually starting on a wrong note. It's a mythology. Mythology means science or study of fake, lie, or imagination. So the myths are created in the mindset of the academics in Europe after, because when they realize that the world has far more intelligence than us, then why not prove them wrong? Otherwise, how will they become our slaves? How will we control them? You know, see, understand one thing. My book is there. Karma is a bitch. Karma catches you back. So you can do whatever you want to other people, but it's ultimately going to hit you back. It's going to bring you the same or the worst reaction that people have not even imagined. So we should not be scared of anything in life or anybody or anyone. We should be scared of our own karma. That's the only thing you need to be scared of. And therefore, the philosophy of karma makes you responsible. In fact, that should be the philosophy of all the nations of the world who are currently misguided by the European propaganda starting from Vatican. The biggest thing that we need to worry in from anyone in life, nobody will to worry, is only karma, our actions. If we hurt others for food, including animals, animals have soul. This is again another misconception they have studied. Animals have no soul. Animals have feelings. If animals did not have feelings, why not you kill your own dog? Can I ask you that question? Or horse? They all have feelings. Cows have feelings. Animals have feelings. They are living. They have children. They have the same loyalty to you which you expect from a human, sometimes more. So animals have soul, including fishes, including insects, including birds have soul. This ancient culture, until the Greeks, Socrates, which the Western world quotes a lot, he was killed, he was poisoned, he had to consume poison by the Athenian democracy, and he consumed it happily. And he said, "Be a witness to someone." I don't forget the names; they're very difficult names for me to remember. And so the point, which is that even they believed in karma, responsible, reincarnation, the permanence of soul, or something outside the body. Now, I won't give much to them because they were thinking like children. They were disconnected from this land. This is the land of five rivers. These are the land of, this is a pious land. This is Sindhu Nadi, all the rivers merging into one, coming to Sindhu Nadi. So, right, they did not cross into India, but this is all Bharat during that time. The Bharat was all over the Asia. They won't mention that because they have to tell a narrative to justify their loot or destruction of humanity. Randomly created countries, like using a ruler and just creating the countries. So this one such mythology is the Parthian Empire. You know, some Indian scholars say Parthian. Parthian word comes from Partha, Arjun. Maybe true because Partha is Arjun. Pritha, his mother's name is Pritha. Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani is from Kosal, which is near south of. We'll go to that region next time. We'll go there because then I'll show you with maps properly how Kosal, Matsya, and all the kingdoms in India were situated. Very different than any map you must have seen. Much bigger regions, not small regions. So they had to eliminate the history of Yudhishthir. They had to remove the Mahabharata references, and they gave their own names. Greeks are mythologists. The entire Greek history is filled with mythology, all lies, exaggerated versions. Alexander was 5 feet 2 inches, fat and stocky, could not ride a horse on his own, and when he was put on a horse, then he would fight. This was Alexander, and what they've sold is Greek looks only in the statues. So we should say Greek statue looks. So a lot of mythology has been spread. So these are names given according to the European scholars. But I just told you that how the different regions of Mahabharata are situated. The entire Iraq, Iran, uh, and Azerbaijan, Central Asian states, they were all considered part of the Parsik Desh and south of Uttar Kuru. Uttar Kuru starts somewhere in Kyrgyzstan. A little south of that were all called Parsik, and which had a flourishing Vedic culture, flourishing until the invasions began from the European scholars, European Christians generally, and after that the Islamists. Genghis Khan. The word Khan actually means a sheep in Mongolese. The phonetics of the Khan phonetic means sheep. So Genghis Khan was a sheep herder, and they made him that he has impregnated so many people. He is a Buddhist. He did not believe in oppressing others, but he did a lot of violence. So they come up with all these terms. Okay, so now if you have any, you keep on typing their question. Yeah. Uh, so now the next slide in the presentation, we will go to the actual maps. Why I do that? It's all in my books, and you can read much more detail in my books. If you search Sattology on Amazon, you'll see much more details about Yudhishthir, about Pandavas, about the maps. There's a lot of maps I've put over there. And and what I do is I don't write from just one book. I triangulate with Bhagavad Puran and references from Ramayana and Mahabharata geography references. Names have not changed. Between Ramayana period and Mahabharata, names have not changed. And I'm going to do some more research on the financial systems for one of my next book, and then I'm going to bring it back to you. So now coming back to our favorite platform, now some people even told me Earth is not round, and there is a truth in that too. It's not that it is outside the truth. There is a truth in that. Now the entire region which I showed you was this region. in the current maps. To some parts here, this region looks much smaller now. Like for example, if I put a scale from here to 2000 kilometers width, and if I put a scale, uh, I'll cancel it and put a scale here, and 2000 kilometers by 1200 kilometers. That is what they have shown to be a Parthian empire. And that is, but one thing you must see, that they're given the time frame of very recent, like 124 BC, 91 BC, 124 BC, very recent, 2600 years, 7 years back. So now, from what we understand now, that the entire region was a Hindu region. It was ruled by someone, and you will be shocked to see what I'm going to show you now. So ruled by someone connected to Hindus. So you know what happened when the Islamic invasion happened in, like, the entire Persia and the Parthian Empire, and after that other empires came. I'm going to come to all of them, including the definition of Mesopotamia. You'll be shocked to know. So before I discuss Mesopotamia, I need to go to Sassanid and Academies. So very difficult name. They gave all these Greek names, very, very difficult Greek names. And that all the Europeans did was to steal wealth, steal knowledge, and the number system came from India to Arab country, because it was all Hindu. The entire Saudi Arabia, everything was Hindu. We are talking about 125 BC, was all Hindu. Syria was speaking Sanskrit, today's Syria. It was all part of the one culture. Assyrian, they call it Assyrian, and all this. I'll come to all those names, which you must remember, that these are, when you hear these words, this is all propaganda to justify. And I'll also come to the current Indian kings at that time, and I will bring other scholars who have done a much more research on that, because I have done research only on Mahabharata, Ramayana, and I try to connect the Mahabharata to all these areas from the Mahabharata perspective and Ramayana perspective. But other people have done a research more on who are the current kings, and there are many shows there on our channel, many shows, which you can refer to, where these things have been discussed in detail. Okay, so coming to only the Mahabharata references, the which was the predominating deity from Vedas which was worshipped in this Parthian Empire just 200 BC, 2700 years back, 2800 years back, which was the predominating deity. You can type the question over there, but meanwhile, I'll show you the screen. You will be shocked with this information, because you will be shocked. And this is, again, I have only taken public sources, and don't believe in. So they won't write, like, if you look at Wikipedia, they won't write anything. But Verethragna, Verethragna, or the Veerbhadra, Verethragna, Veerbhadra. See, most of the Europeans generally, they do not know how to pronounce Sanskrit names. Even today, I've been living in this country, USA, for such a long time. It's very difficult for them to say my name. Just like for me to 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 pronounce a Eastern European name is impossible. And sometimes even the Western European name or German name or Polish name and all the skis and all this, very difficult to pronounce. Eastern European is very difficult. Some German names and North European names and English names are also sometimes very complex. So for them also it's a complex thing. Okay, they can't expect us to pronounce the name accurately also. So this person is the predominating deity of Parthian Empire. Who is he? According to them, they won't say. So entire Wikipedia, if you read these pages, they've written such confusing names and mispronunciations in English that you feel it's completely disconnected. Like this one, they say Verethragna. So they made up a new name so that the Hindus do not claim these people as their symbols. But they, at some point, they have to speak truth. Otherwise, they will look completely idiots. They write in their books that Verethragna may be the Hindu god Indra. By the way, I'll correct them. Indra is the Devata, is called Devraj Indra for the entire planet. You may like it or not like it. If you want to go to heaven, then you have to bow down. Otherwise, you're not going to heaven. Indra controls the gates of the heaven. Okay, so if you, no amount of your faith will save you. So Indra is there in every single coinage. And I'll show you one interesting, many other thing. And he's a commonly worshipped person in the entire region, Parthian Empire. We all know Indra Abhishek happened somewhere in the Georgia, today's Georgia, in Europe. Is very well documented. Now, coming to the next point, because we have to analyze, scrutinizingly analyze what they're talking and what we are talking, because we have to have our homework done well. And because it's a, we're not fighting against anybody, we are fighting against the misinformation, the mythology which has been spread and being taught every day. Even today, though, if you think the colonization has ended, you are in a fool's paradise. Friends, you are in a fool's paradise if you think that colonization has ended. Colonization is stronger than before using modern technologies. And the same lies which were earlier told, now memes are made, and propaganda is much more stronger, because to maintain one lie, you have to speak million lies to maintain one lie. So now the information age is starting. So the lies are also increasing, not decreasing. Okay. Now let me just take you to another screen, because you have to understand that the process of undermining an older civilization is impossible for any human. So they all will fail eventually. Eventually, they will fail. But the process will be very, uh, very slow. Let me just take the, I have to take something. Now, I have taken some examples of the Iranian art. Okay. Iranian art, because Iranian art is very close. Hmm? Now, you will see that the Iranian art, because some things Iranians have preserved very well, because part is, the Iran was always part of India. It was part of extension of Bharat. Always, Iranians, Zoroastrian culture is a Hindu culture, which most Iranians must know. Parthian Empire was built on the Hindu land. Parthian is just a name. It's an intrinsic connection. Bull, bull horns, and in the middle is a coconut, not hair. They will say whatever they want, and but this is what is going on. Now let me just go to the another, and this is their references we are using. We are not even using our references, because India has not done any work which India should do. India must do more work on this and to claim their history. And I'm just a individual, you can say, fascinated guy. I'm not the, let me, Viragna, this one, and stone artifacts. uh, I need to take one pictures which I have to show you. Okay. Now the, if you are seeing my screen, These are the coins in the British Museum. Okay, and most of the coins are looking the same. It's not something. It's all looking the same. The coins are looking exactly the same coins everywhere. But I'm going to pick up on something uh, which is very important. So most of the coins have the same picture of Indra, the same picture, and sometimes it is. Let me go back to. It's a British Museum thing, pictures, and I thank British Museum for doing some wonderful work in preserving, at least showing what they captured. Most of the museums don't even show that what they have. At least they've done a good job based on their own information or misinformation. They have actually kept it as it is. No, so you will see that most of the see normally the kings will put their own pictures and do that. But why? Because each ruler, like in India, you have stamps, like in the world, US also stamps on commemorative occasions. So coins don't show much history. Coins can be coined, but it just proves that the civilization was there. That means when the Western world was working in barter system, the entire Parthian Empire was working on coins. Mahabharat, the coin is Nishk. So Nishk is the official coin of Mahabharat, and I'll give you proper references. It's in my books also, but I'll give you more references. So the entire most of these collections show one picture as common. What is that picture? Chakra. Chakra everywhere. Common, these coins, and these are collected by them, not by us. Let me also show you something. And why I'm showing you this method of research is already, you know, generally like engineers, like people like me and other, we are doing it because the historians failed us. Historians are all bought up. Everyone is looking for validation, a professor position, and get a position, get some good salary, and do nothing. And teach. What they are teaching, nobody knows. A very poor condition of academics in India. They just work on getting the money and not doing anything. Same condition is in the Western world. People are just go into teaching profession and do not do any research whether they are teaching truth or not. They are teaching their children actual history, or they're teaching the history which is parroted to them by their colonial masters. Because the distance is so huge, they don't know. They think it's a real history. They're brought up in that. And if you ask any American theologian, it's the most funniest one. Jordan Peterson and all these people. Like half-baked knowledge, no realization, yappity yappity yap, just talk too much. And you're very popular, millions of dollars. Why? Because the lies sell. No yoga, no meditation, no culture, no definition of God. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. No, Vedas are assertive, very assertive. Vedas tell you this is the way. And they want you to do sadhana so that you understand from your own self whether what you were told is right or wrong, because you need to start seeing it also. It's just like you can do a written examination for a driver's license, but then you have to actually go to a driving school or get trained by your family to come on the road. That's the difference between knowing it and doing it. And like I told you, the purpose of all this information is to show you that Mahabharat Ramayana never went wrong, because they mentioned geography. These people can write whatever they want on Wikipedia, but they won't be able to change the geography of the land. And that geography of the land is first accurately described in Ramayana as well as Mahabharata. So Earth has not changed since the time of Ramayana, according to our live description, has not changed since the time of Sri Ram. All mountains are in the same place, all oceans are in the same place. In fact, all over the world, Ramayana talks about Andes mountain, Udaygiri, talks about Astachal, which is in Europe, Alps mountains, Meru Parvat, right in the middle of Jambudweep, Asia, and the seven islands south of Jambudweep, Lanka, Simaladweep, Javadweep. There are many islands, seven islands there. They all talk about it. So they cannot they cannot fool Vedic rishis. And good thing is that we are now learning it, and we are questioning everything the Western academics ever stood for. I'm sure I won't get a job in any American college, and I'll be very happy for that, because they need to learn from Sattology. We don't have to learn from them. We learn from our Guru Parampara, not from anyone else. Now, coming back to an important thing, I'm searching because I missed the link. There's so many things that we have to capture. I missed the link. Yeah, very interesting. Okay. Now, this is the again British Museum. Okay. So I'm going to now I exactly know what to show you. Just give me a second. Which is uh, Parthian Empire. Okay. Do you see this? Now, this shows three women, different women. Okay, two identical, one different. This is the picture of the one of the pictures captured in the place. Now, coming to the now, many of these images. Now, look at this with a lion, a devta, a man standing on the back of the lion, along with two devis. Now, who this you represent in the Shastra? Where does it connect in the Shastra? Mahabharata. Which story of Mahabharata connects this picture? Because they are all inspired, but they are farther away. Like if I play a game of I don't know what you call it, but if I three people, just three people, start saying something in each other's ears, is going to change in two or three times, two or three circles. You know, this is the story of Bharat, because Dushyanta Shakuntala's son, who used to tame lions. He had two wives, and this is a commonly it's a common story of the entire ancient Persia. Even today, Ahur Mazda, the Zoroastrian's book, refers to this story again and again and again times, many times. Before me, nobody has given the real identification of this picture on any public forum, because it was Bharat who used to play with lions, live lions, not trained. Therefore, the Bharat Varsh, second time the word Bharat Varsh name came from Bharat, from Dushyant Shakuntala's son. And that was his region of playing. That was the region of playing. That's where Kaikai Desh, all these Balik, Balik is extreme, south of Turkey, Hamas, uh, west of Parsik, south of Turkey. But this entire region is Parsik, and next to Balik. After that, Balik starts. And we have already discussed it. The Pragjyotishpur. The two Pragjyotishpur, one in the east, one in the west. In the west is mostly the area of Baghdad. That is the area which is Pragjyotishpur. This is a common story being told. If you go there, they'll say, हम तो बबर शेर के साथ खेलते थे. But बबर शेर तो वहां पे था ही नहीं कभी भी. The big main lions are either in India or mostly Bharat, including Pakistan. Pakistan is a Bharatiya territory, is a Hindu territory. But These lions are only here mostly. Now they have been killed for pleasure. So किसके साथ खेलते थे आप वहां पे? तो lion, they have big cats like leopards or pumas. They have those kind of cats they have, but they don't have the cats like this, like the lion, the big mane. Very interesting, isn't it? Now I'll show you another one. Like if I'm zooming in now, you have to understand that most of these paintings, pictures have been disconfigured, but you can clearly see a dhoti and a sari. You see the dhoti, very commonly worn dhoti, you know, and a shaft, and somebody is standing here watching. Mukut can be in many ways, artistic ways people can represent, but these are representing a culture. A sari, very similar to what Hindus wear, very similar. In fact, there is one painting I missed out just now. It might come if you are lucky and I'm lucky. It shows Parshuram, Custodial Parshuram with a farsa, which is an image which is captured in the museum. You know, let me search for it. Just give me a second. Uh, Meanwhile, you can see that picture, Parthian Empire. You will be shocked to what I'm going to show you there. Much clearer pictures there, but you'll be shocked to see. So I let me finish this. I've got that picture now. Okay, I've got that picture. So I'm going to finish this part and then I'm going to move to the other. Now, another thing I'll show you is in the same picture. Look at this. Horses. Now, it's a very well-known story in Mahabharata, very well-known, that the fast horses came from Sindhu Nadi. Fast horses, because after that everything is mountains. So even Yudhishthir says, or where the Jayadratha, after Jayadratha was defeated, everything. But most of the Mahabharat armies were running on fast horses. It was said to be Sindhu Nadi ke ghode. They were tall. So the best horses were from Bharat. If you know because I own them, so I know that the they call it Arabian horse nowadays. Arabian horse, Arabic horse. How can there be Arabic horse? There's a desert over there. You can have Arabic camel. And generally it is said those horses which can easily climb the mountains, generally we use mules. Mules is male donkey, female horse. That's how the mule is created. And the generally the horses go in the mountains have a shorter ribs, less ribs, like generally 30, 32, 34, 32. Sindhu horses or the Hindu horse or the Indian horses have 34. They are longer, taller, and the neck is straight up. So it's easier for a carrier, it's easier for a horseman to go on top of them. Like the horses which they are showing here, they're the mountain horses. Mountain horses are a little shorter and in both on length as well as this. Now, these images are sculptures. Nothing, they are not, I'm not saying how realistic they are or not. But the fighting skill is very Hindu, very well documented. You know, where the two friendly warriors and are there, the stories which they make up over here are completely Europeanized. They have no idea what they're talking. So many times the stories or the commentaries which the European scholars do, you have to take it from with a pinch of salt. Take what is necessary and then go back to Mahabharata and Ramayana and read and come back. But don't believe in anything they write over there. Because if you read and write over there, I'm talking to Americans also, as well as the British or anyone who is watching this program, that there is a lot of misrepresentation in the entire culture. Now, this entire thing, if you look at the image of this woman, Doesn't it remind you of Maharanis from India? Completely draped in clothes, right? Very common dress. And nowadays, Persians, American Persians, they say, "Oh, we are a different culture. We're old." No, you were Hindus before. You're forcibly converted. Now you're ashamed to admit it. Very common. You need to say that very openly. Now, coming back to something else, I want to show you, which is important. Now, this is all the work which the has to be done by the Indian scholars, but not a single Indian university does that. And they can use the money to influence Europeans because Europeans are getting poorer every day. We have not created educational institutions where Europeans take guidance from India because the Indians themselves are misguided. We are misguided. I'm doing this as an independent hobby, so I'm just I'm just touching the surface. Believe me, just touching the surface. A lot more needs to be done, and where we help me set up Sattology in every single university. It requires a lot of money, a lot of organization. Join us, and we'll make things happen. And so we have to bring pride to the humanity. I want every single human to feel proud about their culture wherever they come from, whether it's Africa, whether it's Asia, whether it's South America, whether it's India, any other land. Most of the Pakistanis think they are Iraqis or Afghanis. Pakistanis were Hindus before. Iranians were Hindus before they were changed forcibly. And Syria is a recorded history. 300 BC, they were speaking Sanskrit. Lithuania has more Sanskrit than even is as much Sanskrit they have as Telugu or Marathi. As much Sanskrit Lithuania. Till date, nothing is lost. It's the Indian government sitting silent. Like they are the custodians of Hastinapur. They have to act like Hastinapur. Anyway, it's a different rant, but I will go back to sharing something else. Uh, which is we got to uh, we have to. I keep missing the things here. Let me just check on which I'm referring to. What am I referring to? Because I find it and then I lost it again. Okay, got it. Now I got it. It's difficult to keep everything in there. Okay. Okay. So, do you see my screen? You can keep typing because I'm not listening to you, so you can keep typing there. So, here the thing is, soft power doesn't work. You have to use your military to its a hard power. You do not teach a lion in a soft power or a tiger or a wolf. You have to use some power, and when they become humble, then you use your soft power. But first, the hard power has to be used. Okay, you have to understand. Look at this simple design: chakra everywhere, wheel. Okay, simple design. Now, I will take you to something very, very interesting, which I want to show. The story of a man fighting with a lion. You will find this all over the place. Parthian Empire. I'm talking about 300 BC. Afterwards, we'll go to I can mid, and we'll go to the Zoroastrian. All these cultures will go. So Zoroastrian culture was derived from all this information before it was destroyed by the Arabs. There's one very interesting thing which you must see, that which is every single story is mentioned in Purana. Now, why will have you ever seen, most of the times, any Abrahamic where the one hand is up? Very common. This is the typical Hindu way, blessing. One hand down, right hand up, blessing. Very Hindu. And there's one picture which really strikes me. Now, dresses are very much connected to India. You can see that. Most of the Persians won't like it because the Persians nowadays think they're better looking. Again, the fighting with the lions. Very common Hindu story. Let me just go there to horse and the king standing and all the animals around him, the horses. Let me show you another one, which is a clear Parshuram picture, which I how I missed out. I don't know how I missed out. Uh, let me. Okay. Again, a very famous story. Now, most of the information here is written in Tagalog. Sorry, in Brahmi script. Most of it is Brahmi script. Left to right, independent letters. The Latin words come from Brahmi script, which is what the Sanskrit sometimes used to be written in that Brahmi script. It's a Brahmi script is a simple script for simple writings or engravings. It's a simpler script than Devanagari. Devanagari is much more sophisticated. And I have a question over the Devanagari and Brahmi script historians and people who are doing research on that. I have a question to them. Is that prove me if Brahmi came from Devanagari or Devanagari was pre-existing or Devanagari is a later addition. Okay, prove me. Anyway, so this story I will go simply by the pictures where the king, who is a representative of Indra, is giving guidance to the subordinates in keeping in view of this symbol. Do you know what is the symbol? Most of you don't even know. This symbol is a symbol of Indra. Chakra is a symbol of Indra, showing the cyclical nature of the world. Indra is a very dharmic person. Some of you may be very shocked to hear this from me, but it's called Devraj for a reason. Ete chamsa kalapumsa indrari vyakumlam lokam mritiyanti yuge yuge. It's the Vishnu who always comes down to protect Indra. So don't abuse him too much. You are affecting. In fact, if you want to go to Swarga, then definitely not. If you don't want to go, you are welcome to do whatever you want to do. I have lost that picture, but I'm going to share that in the images, okay? Because a lot of information have to collect over there. So now coming back to the end of the presentation, a lot of I've already gone over time, and I will take up questions now, which you can ask me any question. Questions you have, do you ask? And I will thank Amit Kumar for answering that question of Vishwakarma. And understand, Mr. Pawakar Pathia is saying, if I speak in Hindi, a lot of people won't be able to understand in the West. But if you organize my show in any of your other channels, I will definitely go there and speak in Hindi. Amit Kumar's question is Chandragupta or Samudragupta. Understand one thing. Chandragupta, there are many Chandraguptas. Chandragupta 1, 2, 3. There are many Chandragupta. In fact, Chandragupta name is very common. Like, for example, father may be Krishna Reddy, son may be Gopal Reddy, and his son may be Krishna Reddy again. Just understand. So don't go by the names. And then when you get into the fallacy, what do you call it? Academic fallacy. You know, that yes, he's right. And that's the whole problem. We are not supposed to believe in anything, including we have to believe in our own intellect. I am giving you information for you to research. I have already written about it in my book Gold, Glory, and God. You can read that. Search Sattology on Amazon. You will see Gold, Glory, and God. Get that book, and you will see what I'm referring to. Question JPPJ. I already said that. Yes, Parth is Arjun's name, and Arjun conquered the entire Parsic Empire and everything. Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, all these areas were conquered by Arjun, and therefore it's Parth is an old name. But just like I told you, you can have 100-year-old somebody Partha, now also Partha, like that. But Parthian is a general name given because most of the people in that land used to talk about Parth, or that Parth also means Bharat and later on Arjun. So it's like that, Parthian Empire. But the Greeks had no basis of giving the name. It can be Carthian, it can be Parthian, just randomly said. Like how much they gave their names to everything. So this show is for the Europeans to understand that whatever they garbage they wrote on Wikipedia and all the academic books about Parthian Empire is totally not correct. It's a mythology. For the Puri Shankaracharya Peeth. Uh, and so, do supporters become our member? Some of you are not our members. Do become, because we are expanding and we need your support. Sanchin Singh says, "Sir, if you read all the old Persians and Hittis and Metis, they all say, yes, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. But all those facts are completely removed from Wikipedia because Wikipedia is a colonizing tool. It is a tool to again talk about the European version of the history, which is not accurate. And uh, just like IIT and Parthian, Utkarsh is right. Yes, just like IIT and Parthian. That's right. That's right. Why their hair is curly? Now, this is the kind of questions you need to avoid, Purple Bee. You can, I have straight hair, my hair stand, it's a thin hair. It's something which just comes. It is not a culture of the land that everybody from my community will have hair like me. No, it's a genetic theory. So hairs don't denote anything. You can comb your hair curly, you can comb your hair straight. It's up to you. What you need to ask me is that how they're now these statues are made to sound look perfect for future generations. Okay, so these statues are like the ideal representation of the society. Everything will be perfect in those statues. जब आप फोटो के लिए बैठते हैं, when you sit for the photograph for a photo shoot, you look the best version of yourself. So these statues are like that. Okay, ideal, but they closely resemble all the kings of Hastinapur. Hastinapur will have more culture because it's a cradle of culture. And as you go away from Hastinapur, things will start reducing. And when you come to Europe, there'll be no clothes. There are no clothes on the emperor. Okay, therefore all Greek statues have no clothes because there are no clothes. Shows the society was very poor. Pacifist says, why God's heart doesn't melt? Pacifist, my answer to you, your heart doesn't melt for yourself. You don't try to learn. Okay? Don't bring God in everything. That is the Abrahamic thought. You believe in karma. Do your karma properly. There was a war between Asuras, Persian gods. No, no, no. Understand one thing. All devatas serve Hari. Okay? There is no Persian god. Hindu god. Devtas are there. Devtas are for everybody, whole planet. Americans may not believe in Indra, but Indra is still the Devta for America also. Okay, because any rain in America is not cannot do without Indra or his agents. Indra doesn't work alone; it is his agents. Okay, so every region of the earth is given to Upadevata, and so whether you believe it or not, America may not believe that sun is just a big gas burning ball, but burning ball can extinguish, but it is not. It is still glowing and getting the same way. You can explain the fusion is happening, fission is happening, but the sun is still hot and it gives light. So there is someone managing it. That is Vivaswan. Okay, so there is no Persian god or Hindu god, nothing. Devata. People who serve Hari is called Devata. One good question is: do you see or observe animal-like face in Europe of these nearby areas, such as near to monkey regions? You are talking about very high mountains, and there are monkeys over there. There are other things over there. See, understand one thing: did the entire museum about Parthian Empire, because Parthian Empire is a mental imagination. It's itself a fake story. It is just the Greeks are trying to say, and other people, that how undeveloped that area is, because they don't want to give the name Hindu Empire. Understand? You did not understand the whole point of the story. Parthian Empire is a fake name given. It's actually Empire of Hastinapur to disconnect Hindus from their ownership of these lands so that Europeans can eat it. Okay, that's the whole point. All right. Okay, I think there are no more good questions, and I would expect a lot of you to become members at Patreon as well as YouTube and join us. Do our course and join us. Very simple to join our course. Everyday chant at Sattology.org. Our website was hacked by some people, even though our content is purely meditation and history and other things. Still, it was hacked. Must be popular. So we had to make changes, and the new website will be launched very soon. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you for coming on the show. And I hope to see you again in few days' time. Thank you.